yesterday in Alana Street, Alana Place. It's a nice chase. And this subdivision was dated back in the 1950s. Concrete blocks were placed as reference marks. No curb, no drill hole wings in the curb. And look what we got here. We've got a garden with some agapanthus here. I didn't actually want to dig up the garden, but what have you got to do? This garden here is on the nature strip, but look what I found. A concrete block, and if I just get my trusty little screwdriver here, you can see the makings. You can see the makings of a hole. Super excited, and I'll be able to see that from my total station just over there. But here's the interesting thing. I pre-calculated this survey on MGA, basically tying this survey into some adjoining surveys down the road that were on MGA. So I was able to get some coordinates and check out the accuracy. 6 mils, 20 mils. Not bad, hey? Thank you, Leica GNSS. I've just found the concrete block. What a bonus. And now I'll read it with the Leica 360-degree prism, the Leica AP20 auto pole. As you can see, I can hold this out on a tilt, like so. Actually, the bottom of that pole sitting right inside the hole of the concrete block. How cool is that? For those who may end up working in Alana Street, Sinai's Chase, let me know and I'll send you the MGA coordinates for that mark. I might leave a little paint mark here or a texture mark on the copper log there just to help the next surveyor. And the next mark, that's a bit of a bummer. It's underneath the paving here, so I will unfortunately have to give that one a miss and have to keep traversing up into the other streets. Okay, so you can see a copy of the old survey plan that I have here back in the 1950s, and I'll just put it down here somewhere where we can have a look. So that concrete block I just showed you was at the tangent point in this road here. See, I've plotted it as number 8 concrete block in my thing. Well, I've just come over here, just here, RMGI pipe. Now look what I found. RMGI pipe. What a bonus. And there's my total station set up there on an SSM at the street intersection, so I'll be able to read hopefully through there. I might have to break a few leaves. I'll still use my Leica AP20 auto pole to read the GI pipe. Oh, what a bonus. And you can see how excellent this AP20 auto pole is, because I stand here, that we've got all these leaves in the way. If I lean out here, you can see the total station. And you just got to just rock it backwards and forwards a bit until we get the green bar there. It shows good tilt strength. I can just lean it up against the fence here if I like. How cool is this? Watch.
Point stored. Point stored. Point stored.
And look, the bubble. Look at that bubble. Completely out of whack. I've just got it leaning up against the fence. I bet you couldn't do that without the AP20.
Point stored.
Okay, so as I said earlier, I drew up everything on MGA to enable me to use GS18 to stake out the marks, and I've done that, and look what I found. Another GI pipe, and that GI pipe there is the third mark in my old subdivision from the 1950s, so that should be pretty good fix for the boundaries. Super excited. And obviously there's going to be some adjustment to be made, but by drawing up this subdivision on MGA to begin with, even though it wasn't, or connecting my subdivision to other ones down the road, I'm able to find this mark within 30 mils, 20 mils, which is pretty good. Definitely good enough for me now to measure it with the Leica circular prism when the bus hops out of the way. And if I stand here almost opposite the concrete block, you can see that the total station's just sort of hidden behind that bush, but I'll be able to read it with the AP20. And you'll see in this instance that the GI pipe is not quite on the line of the fence. It's about there. So what I'm going to do is measure two offsets to help the next surveyor. It's about 330 and about 150. See, I've just written the distances there. GI pipe out 0.33 over to my right as I look at the fence for 150, and I know that won't stay there for very long, but it will be permanently etched on this video on YouTube. So if you happen to be working in St Ives, actually near Awatea Road, on the intersection there, just down the road from Alana Place, we have a GI pipe opposite the fence here. Well, that's it, everyone. Thanks so much for watching, and I appreciate you visiting the channel, Global Surveyor. Been a little while between this video and the last one. I've had a few things going on, been quite busy, but I'm glad to have been able to find some time to make a video about using these wonderful pieces of equipment, the Leica AP20 auto pole and the Leica GS18. It gets me out of a lot of trouble, and the fact that I don't have to set another tripod down here to read to the pipe because I can read it on the tilt is just fantastic. I'm the Global Surveyor. Please make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment, and see you next time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
G'day everyone, the Global Surveyor here, and I'm out here at Middle Dural today with Ian Idale, also known as the Universal Surveyor or the Astronaut. And it's a beautiful day. I'm just wondering, we can see stars during the day, can't we, Ian?
That's correct. You can see some of the brighter planets and stars like Venus and Sirius and Canopus, and it's quite amazing if you've never done it before.
Well, that brings me to something exciting. I believe you've just written a brand new app. What's it called?
That's correct, Scott. It's called Starry Day, and it calculates really accurate MGA azimuths in a pretty amazing speed, like under 5 minutes or even less. And we're going to demonstrate it to you today.
Excellent. Okay, Ian, so what's the plan for today's test?
Okay, today we're going to try and prove how accurate the app really is. I'm set on one skims mark here, a PM accuracy B horizontally, and there's another mark down the road which is also accuracy B, and it's 280 metres away from us. And I'm going to use Venus to sight. Venus is about the first thing people should try if they're new to the app, because it's very bright and very easy to find.
Okay, so how does the app work in the field, Ian?
Okay, well what you do is you either can observe the moon if it's out directly and get a pretty good MGA azimuth to that, or if the moon's not available, which it isn't at the moment, we can observe the shadow of the sun, get an approximate MGA azimuth to that, and then we need to focus our jigger on infinity, otherwise you will not see Venus, and then we start taking readings to accurate readings to Venus. And my app calculates an adjusted bearing off our rough one. and then following that we check our back sight down to the second skims mark.
Okay, so how do we align the instrument initially, Ian?
Well, usually I turn the handle of my jigger to the sun, so you can see I'm getting a very small shadow there.
Yep.
And then I place anything like a plumb bob, key, nail on it, because I only need it to get a rough azimuth.
Yep.
But I'm going to cheat, because today the shadow's over the fence and my jigger actually has a screen which will show it to me.
Yep.
So if I turn this to the, you can see now, I'm on the shadow of my jigger.
Right.
Pretty well. Actually, that's the post. Now I'm on the shadow of my jigger, and I'll just centre it. Okay, and in my app, I can calculate at exactly that moment a bearing to the sun. It's telling me that it's 5 degrees 30 roughly.
Right.
So I set the back bearing 185.30 in my jigger.
Yep.
Okay, so in the app, I select Venus as the object I want to observe.
Yep.
And my app comes up and tells me what the angle is. Before I do that though, I should have got a set to infinity focus, otherwise I won't see Venus.
So we have a tower way over the trees there. Probably, I don't know, a couple of kilometres away for sure.
Yes. So now I'm going to turn to Venus, and it's telling me I've got to turn to my jigger takes vertical angles first, so vertical angle of 59.01 and a horizontal angle of 310.51, and I hit set and it turns, and I'll just check if I can see Venus, and I can. It's almost dead centre in my eyepiece.
Excellent.
So now that I've got Venus in my sights, I need to take the mean of a few readings. I'll probably just do 3. We'll see how good they are.
Yep.
And then I record them. So I'm going to start taking the observations now.
Await mark in about 5 seconds.
So you can see how this app can be operated by one person.
4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
Okay, and then my jigger is reading 310 degrees 06:35, but
Yep.
my app is telling me it should have been 310:08:24, so I'm about a little less than 2 minutes under for that reading.
Right.
So now I've recorded that, and I take the next
Await
reading.
mark in about 5 seconds.
I can actually also use my screen, but at the moment it's easy
5,
to do this.
4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
Oh, it's way behind. Oh,
Await mark in about 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
okay. So that's 3:09:50:05. And it's 1 minute 55 under, so I'll do one more.
Await mark in
My
about
second
5
one was a
seconds.
pretty ordinary reading.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.
Okay, and I'll record that one. It's 3:09:43:40. And on my app, I've got to remove worst obs. You can keep removing the worst observations. So I'm going to actually hit it because my second ob was pretty poor. So now I've got 3 out of the 4 apps, and I now store that away to file, and it will tell me how much I have to adjust my jigger to get exactly on azimuth.
Okay, so you've taken 3 readings now. So what happens next?
Okay, well my app has told me that I'm under the right azimuth by 1 minute 55 seconds. So I've got to add that into my jigger, and then my jigger will be on a really good MGA azimuth.
Right.
So I'll do that. So I've now got to go to 295, 37, 55 to get it right.
Okay, so you've done the 3 observations to Venus. Now, what's the next step?
Okay, so I've sighted the backside, as you can see, to
Yep.
the object 280 metres away, roughly.
Yep.
And I'm getting a bearing of 289, 57, 54,
Right.
which is 16 seconds different to what the skims marks are giving me.
Right.
So-
Why would that be, do you think?
I'm not sure. I've actually done some other tests and got better results than that. But I mean, to think we're using Astro and we're still 16 seconds, I still think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's excellent.
So-
It's excellent. Okay, so we've tested the app now against the known survey marks and we got pretty good results, didn't we?
Correct.
So what would be the next, what are the practical uses for surveyors? How can they benefit from this app?
Okay, well, it's got an obvious use out in a remote rural area where there's not much survey coordination, and there's also maybe no mobile phone reception because my app doesn't need any phone reception. Or it could be even in an urban situation where you've traversed into someone's backyard with very short lines, and you're in their backyard and you are able to close off your traverse.
So you can check your azimuth. You could be traversing for some time, and then that's a check on your azimuth.
Correct. If you've got very long traverses, you can get checks in the middle just to check that you're still on a good azimuth.
What about a situation whereby you thought there were survey marks there and you've only got one survey mark? That would probably be a pretty great use of the app too, couldn't you? Because you could just get onto an MGA azimuth straight away.
Correct.
And use that one mark to get your survey sorted and start the survey.
Correct, yep. Or even no marks, but then you don't have coordinates. So.
Okay, so where can we get this app and how much is it going to cost?
Okay, well, it's available on the Google Play Store. Just search for Starry Starry Day, and it costs 99 cents, Scott.
Wow, 99 cents. Every surveyor needs to buy that, 99 cents. Google Play Store, go get it. Okay, so it's going to be available on the Google Play Store. Now, if people want to find out more information, they get stuck, not sure how to use the app, how can they contact you?
Oh, very easy, Scott. That's also all on the Google Play Store. They can get my mobile, email and website address.
And we'll leave the links at the bottom in the description anyway, so you'll be able to find out more information. As a bit of a side note, you've also written a survey program for surveyors. What's it called?
Yeah, it's called MiniCAD, and it's a basic CAD package that very affordable also.
It's probably the world's most affordable surveying software, so make sure we'll have a link for that too. Make sure you check it out.
Yep, and it's called MiniCAD, and the website is mapsoft.com.au.
Well, thanks so much for showing us all about Starry Starry Day, the app. Any final comments? Anything you'd like to say before we leave today?
No, just that I hope that surveyors right around Australia will find the app really useful, even around the world.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be a game changer. And thanks so much for watching today, everyone. Please make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification for the next video, and see you next time. G'day everyone, the Global Surveyor, and 2025, back to work. Hope everyone has a fantastic new year, filled with prosperity and many other things. I just wanted to make a little video, show you what I'm up to today. I'm actually surveying two properties on two buildings on the same property here. You can see this one in the distance, and I'll be using a combination of total station and GPS. I'll be using my GPS because, as you can see here, it's quite heavily timbered, thick scrub. There's a transmission tower in the distance, and not all that easy to see the boundary marks and to see them quickly by measuring the conventional way using a total station. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just setting up, see here I've got a nail in the rock. I'm setting up a some survey control which I'm going to observe with the GPS, and just down In the distance there, might be able to see my tripod, just set up near the house. And I've got another one beyond that, which makes it about 100 metres between this mark and my furthest one. And I'm going to observe those points with the GPS and then tie it in with a total station so I can locate the home accurately. And I'll have to repeat the same process down the bottom because there's another building there. We have a shed and a few other things. So today's survey is an identification survey, locating the buildings relative to the property boundaries, which are in no man's land. So stick around. I'm going to hopefully find a few old survey marks while I'm here. Okay, so as I said, we'll be using a combination of GPS and total station. You can see here I've got the Leica TS16. I'll just make sure that's nice and level, which it is with the electronic bubble there. Next thing to do is first thing we've got to do is make sure it's set up over the nail. You can see here, I've got a nail down the bottom there. I've actually got to do that. It was actually quite level, but got to make sure it's over the nail. And we'll just make some adjustments here on the legs to get the total station level. Okay. So what we do is we use the legs and the levers there to move the legs backwards and forwards until this pill bubble up the top here is reasonably level. And then we just do some finer adjustments with the electronic level. I'm not sure how well you can see all that. And then once the instrument's level, we just make the minor adjustment by sliding the instrument onto the survey mark, like so. Now, the next thing we need to do is to measure a height of the instrument here, because I'll be taking a reading with the GPS on this nail. So we put the tape on the mark, lean it up here, and read 1.655. 1.655. Measuring tape's seen better days. 1.655 is the height of this instrument here. So we'll write that down in the field book. 1.655, and we'll start to set the instrument up and check for what we're going to be doing is sighting the nail that I have back over there beyond the trees, and then reading a bearing and distance to this tripod here. Then I'll be able to locate the house, floor level, and some ridge heights. Okay, so the instrument height, as we saw before, was 1.655. I'm going to make sure that the prism is a 360 degree prism. You can see I'm using here. So we're going to change the targets here to Leica 360 degree prism. Press OK. Now straight away the controller's wanting to know what's the backside ID. Well, we're going to call that, I better write that down in my book here. So we're at 1000. We're going to have a backside ID of 1001. That can be my station there. 1001. And the height is going to be, I'm going to be using the Leica AP20 auto pole, and straight away it's on 1.6, and that's what the controller's noting there as being the height, which is great. 1.6, and I think I'm going to set a bearing of about 90 degrees. That's east, because that's roughly the direction I'm looking. And we'll go up there and measure it now. Yes, so surveying's a pretty cool job. You're not always stuck in the office. I mean, some surveyors I know who I went to university with are just managers and stuck in an office managing other people, and I can't do that. That's not me, and I wouldn't be able to make these great videos and put them on YouTube if I was stuck in an office. So, okie dokie. So we're walking up to this station now. I'm not going to be using the tilt compensation for this particular setup. So I will change the height a bit. Okay, so you can hear that the instrument's locked to the target. I've actually raised the pole up to 1.9 meters because there's a bit of scrub in the way there. Hold the pole nice and level. Press distance. And that's very good. So we'll set that.
Target lock lost.
And now it's it says target lock lost, but actually that's because it's finished the routine. So now we're set up. We've got the total station set up and ready to go. Actually, it said target lock lost because it's reverting back to the original target that I had, which was a reflective laser measuring as opposed to the prism. So now we'll measure some buildings. So what we're actually going to do is measure a station there first before we measure some buildings, and change the prism to a Leica circular prism, because that's or Leica round prism as they call it. And we've got to change the height. First things first, I'll change the prism height to 1.675, which was the height that I measured for that tripod. Very good. And that's right, that's going to be station 1002. Turn that around, sight the target, press distance. Now this will automatically lock onto that prism, so you don't actually even have to look through the telescope. It's that great. Make sure we give it a code, station. You can put the code in before or after, but I like to put it in before. Do it again.
Point stored.
And if you find that you've made an error with the prism heights, you can actually change that later on when you're processing your data, or you can do it on the controller. So, but it's always good to write it down, put it in the field book as well. Okay, now we're going to measure some buildings. Yeah, so you might be wondering why I'm actually doing this survey, and I can't remember if I mentioned it, but the people are planning to sell the property, so they need a survey that can be accompanied with any of the legal documents in the selling process, and also the council would like a sort of an updated survey of the property before it's sold. So that's what I'm up to. Okay, so I've got the Leica AP20 here, and I'm going to get a corner of this veranda, and I've got it in tilt mode, which is good, and it automatically updates the height at 1.9. Very good.
Point stored.
I'm going to move behind this tree, so it's going to lose lock.
Till compensation stop.
Oh, there's a giant
Lock lock.
giant spider web there. Got to be careful. Now sometimes with the irregular shape here, you'll never be able to map it to 100% accuracy. So sometimes using the GPS in instances like this is perfectly adequate. You can see that the condition of the veranda is not all that well anyway, and probably the new owners would probably replace it. We'll get another shot down here. Turn the jigger around.
Lock to target.
Now automatically go back into tilt measuring, which is,
Tilt compensation started.
and we can,
Point stored.
and I might just get one here at the corner of the building.
Tilt compensation stopped. Tilt compensation started.
The tilt,
Point stored.
you find the tilt works really well, and if you do lose tilt compensation, you've only got to jiggle it back a little bit
Tilt compensation
backwards and forwards, and it will connect straight away. Now I'm going to move to the front of the property here. I'm going to transfer the Leica SNL321, SNLL321. It's a Leica laser plummet and tribrac. This is the laser plummet here. Switch that over with the total station. Clip it on. Turn the prism around, and we're good to go. And we've got a shed here that I'm measuring as well, and I could only measure to this point on the shed. I couldn't see this corner here, so I've got a little reflective red dot here on the shed, and I'm going to measure a distance from that. You've got to make sure when you do measure it that you can, it's not skimming past the shed. Sometimes just these little ripples in the metal can interfere with the laser beam. So you've got to make sure you know exactly where that red laser beam's pointing. Sometimes I like to put a texture mark there, which I might do right now, just to make sure that I'm actually reading to that mark and nothing else. I'll go back and check. And so the distance from that little texture mark I made was back 0.25 to the corner, which I'll write in my field book, 0.25 to corner. And I'll also make a measurement here with the GPS, because the GPS is in tilt mode, and I could easily measure the corner of that shed there, and I'll be able to cross-reference that back when I'm in the office.
Tilt compensation started.
You can see here where I am, I've got my total station just over there, and I'm behind all these buildings, but I've got this Leica AP20 auto pole, and it's in tilt, and I've got it at about 2 meters, so I can hold the pole at the corner of this building here
Tilt compensation stopped. Tilt compensation
and get the
started.
shot. Look at that, how cool is that? Just got to keep the tilt going.
Point stored.
Point stored. So there's no obstructions in the way. I've got another corner here. I'm not sure whether we can get that one, but we can
Compensation stopped.
definitely.
Target lock lost.
Sometimes it loses you and you just got to reinitialize, which I'm doing now.
Lock to target.
And then we just jiggle the AP20 around to get the tilt going.
Compensation started.
And then we'll just,
Tilt compensation stopped. Tilt compensation started.
sometimes it takes a little while to do it, but
Point stored.
there you go, point stored. Sometimes you just got to, because of the angle, it's not going to, it will record it, but it's going to warn you whether the tilt is within the limits that you want. So it wasn't for me, I wanted to get accurate, but I've got it now, and I think I'm done here. Okay, so we've we've completed.
RTK initialization locked. RTK initialization locked. RTK initialized.
So we've completed the.
RTK initialized.
Oh, it's a noisy thing, isn't it? Sometimes I'll turn the volume down a bit so you can hear me. Where I've completed the first stage of my job, which is measuring that house with the total station. Now I'm going to measure these control stations I've placed, and I think the thing is I could have walked around with the Leica GNSS on top of my prism pole and done it all in one, and yes, I know there are ways to do that, but I sometimes like to just do it individually to the survey, so there's no chance of any I guess, to be totally honest, I haven't sort of mastered the art of using everything all in one, and I think some people may have, but I haven't. But that's okay. I'll measure all of these stations with the GPS and a few other bits and pieces, and when I'm back in the office I can merge it all together.
Till compensation started.
Okie dokie, so I'll show you a plan that I'm working with pretty soon. Got a few things to carry, and again, this is one of these jobs where the original boundaries were never ever coordinated because the survey was undertaken quite some time ago, and it's an old Crown plan, and so the only thing I can use is my trusty New South Wales Survey Mark app. Shows the boundaries, and that sort of enables me to sort of approximately figure out where I am. So just going to refresh this app. Want to make sure that you've got your want to make sure that you have your location services on your phone, because otherwise it's not going to work. So on this map of mine and on the little table here, it does say GUM 104 degrees 54 for 63.6 links. Well, to start with, I've got my compass on my phone here, and 104, I'll just get it. 104 is pointing out towards where I've actually got my GPS sitting, because I saw a star picket in the ground. So that's encouraging. We calculate what 63.6 links is, and I'll show you how to do that. We go 63.6 times 0.66. That gets you into decimal feet, and then times 0.3048, that gets you into metres. So it's 12.8 metres. Now, if this is the old dead reference tree, which it quite possibly looks like, you can see where there's been a scar and the remains of a tree, and I'll give that a reading with my GPS in a moment, but we go for 12.8 metres. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, very rough, obviously, 10, 11, 12. Not bad. I'll give it a go with I'll measure that with my GPS and see what I come up with. Okay. There's a line of rocks. GPS down.
Yes, but here's an old place.
Yeah. Let's see what the plan says. It suggests that the fence is inside the boundary, almost as if it's over there, just over here, maybe. gee. Those trees. So the line of rocks sort of here. I'd say it'd be on this rock somewhere. Actually, the rock had according to the plan, a drill hole in rock corner. May have had some numbers. There's that post?
The post is here.
Yeah, see there's a line of rocks here.
The post looks like it's fallen over from this way, so it would have been here from there.
Yeah. Check my.
So that fence there is the only real fence left standing fully in the post on the place.
Yeah. It would be here somewhere. I've just got to find the darn thing. And actually, I don't really want to leave until I find it, because it's
That's not important.
well, it is, because it will be here. I don't think.
A drill hole, no?
Yeah, it's a drill hole. See. But what they did was they placed a line of rocks along the direction of the boundaries in like a T intersection, and that's kind of what's happening here. But
It does look like they've been placed there.
yeah.
higher up, like they've gone down further as well.
Could be. Rock mark not found, but there's a tree up here. Oh. Gee. Well, I think it is a tree. There's no real evidence of I think I'm going to measure that. Number reference tree number 12. Put it there. Well, it's a bearing of 200 degrees. I'll just get my little trusty probably to your right a little bit, probably where that post is. See where that the post to your yeah. I'll just measure the post and see how that fits with the distance. Gee, it's hard. It's a bit frustrating when people put posts in over a hole. I mean, I know it's on the boundary, but it ruins the...
Yeah. But would they have that map like you have for their side? Would it have all those markings on it? Probably not.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's but they won't mention anything about this fence because it's a... So if I... From the boundary to that tree, should have been 11.67 metres.
Right.
If I query what I've just measured, I get 11 point. .2, so it's like 400.
So it could be here.
Well, it could be just at the edge of this grass.
Well, that's the edge. That's the edge of the rock. There's nothing there, holes-wise, unless it was more rock, of course.
Yeah.
Well, the pole's in the wrong spot. And we're talking about something that's done in what, 1970?
Yeah.
So, 55 years ago.
I might have to come back if I can't find that, but I've definitely got that tree. Finding that rock mark would have been
Well,
good.
they could move these poles either way just to get it into rock. So they could be,
Yeah.
you know.
I'll just squeeze
Yep.
over here. Just, oops. Here we go. Bingo.
Where is it?
For starters, here's a number 2.
Oh, right.
You see that?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Does that mean that's something else there?
There's number 4. Now, if I go back to my, this is why surveyors get excited about finding stuff that no one would know.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I was standing on it.
Yeah. So what we're talking is there's a 27 and a 422. So on the ground should be portion 27, which is your neighbour to the front towards Boundary Road,
Yep.
and your number 422.
Yep.
We're like that.
Yep.
So
So there should be another
there's a
2.
422.
Yep.
Okay.
Excellent.
So we're there's the mark there. Once I paint this,
Is that what your can's for?
yeah, I'll give it a coat of paint. So it's just in here is what and this mark should be a broad arrow, which it is, which is a, you know, the convicts had the convict uniform. It was like a tan colour,
yes.
but it had the black arrows on it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a government mark, and that's what this is here. You can see it's only used for government purposes.
Okay.
So you can see the broad arrow here. Quite possibly,
The dot's just behind that.
I don't think there's a drill hole. Oh, yes, there is. There's your drill hole.
Wow.
Let's grab it. Something, stick I can use to clean this out. So there's the drill hole.
Yep. So now we've actually got one corner of the property.
Yeah, that's the corner. And this is 422. So I'm thinking that's really old, like really old.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to find the other numbers.
So you should have a 7 something, shouldn't you?
We should have a
7 something, is it?
27. But I'm not. Sometimes. There's a 7. Don't know why they've done that, but anyway. Well, that could be the 2. There's the 7 there.
You've certainly done this before.
Yeah, I don't like being stuck on building sites, I can tell you. This is sort of what, it's pretty much my passion, really, just finding these old marks. I mean, if you could just get paid every day to do this,
Yeah.
because it's like looking for lost treasure. It's not gold, but it's like surveying gold, if you know what I mean. So we've got this the drill hole and the 3 wings, which is the broad arrow.
Does that mean that drill hole there is actually the corner?
Yes.
Right.
That's the
So
corner.
this fence is due in on their land.
There's the numbers for well, the fence is the way this plan suggested back in 1970. The fence was this side, so they've actually, it looks like they've moved the fence. And then this one here is,
When we first got here, once there was no that it was all run. There was not really a fence there. Then they put that in themselves. They didn't even ask. We came walking one day. This was years ago, and Dad could get around, and that was something in. They didn't even say pay half the fence or anything.
yeah. I'll take a photo of that. That's excellent.
Okay, I've got you a bit of paper.
Great, I've just got to measure that now with the GPS. Wow. I'm so happy to find that. So, and that's what the distance suggested, that it was a bit further past that post, but it was just the post. It's not quite. So we just measure. Change the code. Rock mark.
Point stored.
So how many do you need to find all 4 corners?
Point stored.
No, I've only got to find really, at a bare minimum, 2 marks, but a third's
Point stored.
better. So what I'll do now,
Look behind it, just stick sort of close to the back.
Point stored. Point stored. Point stored.
so I can use a combination of the tree and this mark. So that tree was 2114. So if I query the distance, I get 11.45. What have I got? 0.68. Oh, hang on. 2113. 11.45, 11.66.
Yep, 11.6 is that.
But the mark on the tree could be further in. I'm just on the outside, and they might be a couple of 100 mils inside. So that's good. So that's very good.
Tick.
Down.
Have you been here since 10 o'clock with 1 tick?
Yeah, 1 tick. Yeah,
Wow.
I have been here for a while.
Well, I said to Scott, do I need to be there? He said, no, you don't need to be there. So I agreed to the meeting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's just...
Otherwise, I would have made the meeting. I've got to go on tomorrow Saturday anyway. But
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, that was a bit of a bonus finding that rock mark, don't you think? And I've had a few look around for a few other marks that you couldn't find, especially a GI pipe at the corner where I was before I found the rock mark. I'm going to look for another GI pipe now, 7 metres away. So hopefully we can find it, or some evidence of some boundary. Fortunately, I didn't bring my metal detector, but just looking here under this tree, there's a bit of a deviation here. So hopefully that's it. Put this GPS down carefully, move some of these tea tree bushes out of the way. Actually quite easy to break. Okay, hopefully I've got this. Once I get a second mark, I'm away. I can find all the marks, so it's quite hard, this ground. Nothing yet. No evidence of any sort of lock spits. Oh, there are some rocks here. Quite possibly I'm looking in the right spot, but I'm not sure. Might have to do some more calculations. Okay, so I was just scratching around in this hole. I couldn't think that a GI pipe in this rock would be the go, but look what I found here. It's the makings of a peg. It's quite firm. So I would say that the pipe is just here somewhere. So I'm pretty certain that's a peg. It looks like one. Hard to tell. Is timber. I'll give it a measure. See what I can find. Wow, I'd almost given up. I don't like to give up. I mean, I should be going home. It's getting late. It's it's nearly 5 o'clock, and I thought, you know what, my car's parked way up the hill there, and I thought, oh, bugger it, I'll just go look for one more chance. And bugger me, I found the pipe. Which means I don't have to come back now, technically. I'm not going to go look for the other mark, but there's the pipe there. Galvanised iron pipe, and it's a good way under the ground. So probably at least half a metre. And based on the rough calculations, I adopted the rock mark I found in an old fence line. I'll just see how accurate we are. Okay, so using a localisation, that was a rock mark weighed to the devil down there, and just an old fence that I found miles away. And then I stake out, calculate the GI pipe which I found, and I've only got to go 29 and 36 mils from where I'm holding it, but I'm actually holding it on the mark. You can see down there, so that means that that's pretty bloody good. So I'll record that where it is, go back to the office, calculate it, and I think job done. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Really appreciate your support of the channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and see you next time.
Till compensation started.
It's getting dark.
Till compensation stopped.
Come on. I just needed to go fixed. Initialized 100 by 170. Just there, right here. G'day everyone, the Global Surveyor. And look at this place. This is Maruta and Leetsvale, sort of the border of the two in Sydney's northwest. You might be able to see my shadow there. And look what we have here. We've got this power line, and the power line runs runs down this hill. Got to be really careful wandering around here. These rocks, really steep, not easy to walk around, and definitely not easy to survey. Why am I here? Well, I'm doing a detail survey for someone who wants to build a house right on the edge of a hill. And, look, I don't know if you can see the wires there. See those wires running down the bottom there. Really, really steep. I don't actually want to go down there. I've taken some photos with my drone, and it's really steep. I've got some pink ribbon here on the trees, and I've written a number here. You can see number 2. I've got about 40 odd trees here. See, there's a bit of an excavator up there, some preliminary works. So today's survey is to map these trees. This, again, as you know, or you may have seen from many of my other videos, I love wandering around the rock. I just love it. I've got my Leica GNSS just up there next to that tree, using that to map the trees. When I make a measurement to these trees, and I'll show you a bit later on, I like to put the pole here. I measure the diameter, the height, and the canopy spread. I take the measurement on this side of the tree. Now, this side is the northern edge of all these trees. So the idea being, when I'm back in the office, if I really want to nail the position a little bit more accurately, I'll just plot half the width of the tree in a southerly direction, and that will get the location of the tree. So there I am, here I am. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to be heading down here. I'm going to be doing, I'll have to drive down, I won't be able to walk down, too steep. As I said before, you can see here it's really, really steep, and you've got to be careful. Whilst it's exciting to jump around, it really drops off down there, and I don't actually want to go down there myself. I'll just stay up here on this nice flat area. Check out these rocks again. Always say that, check out the rocks. Quite interesting here. Little slits. But yeah, what a place to be. And it's a Friday, and I was just going to say, you probably saw my last video with Ian Idale, the astronaut, making a video about daylight stars, and make sure you go check that out. Okay, so this is tree number 6. I think it's a rough bark Angophora, rough bark apple, and it's about 300mm diameter, probably about 8 high, and it has a spread of about, what have I said? You can see here in the attributes, I've got the spread, the canopy spread, being 4 meters radially from the center of this tree. Sort of goes 4 meters out there and about 4 meters out that way. Diameter of 300. That's the tree trunk size. The height about 8. The species a rough bark apple, and tree number T number 6. So that's the codes that I stick inside the controller here. When I get back in the office, all that information, the attributes, are plotted on the screen. All done in the field. Here we're at tree number 15, and you can see the valley below and these rocks. It really drops off here. One false move over that edge and you're a goner. You can probably see some water down in the valley there. Little wetlands. I'll be heading down there later. There's my tree number 32, and it's a yellow bloodwood. You can just see here. See the yellow mottles of bark there. I'm not really sure the scientific name, but yellow bloodwood. What a view. What a view. Okay, we're at tree 41. Again, check out the rocks. And almost at the end, I think that tree just there's tree 42, and that will be the last tree I need to survey as part of this little exercise. And then I have to go down into no man's land and look for some boundary marks. So wish me luck. Well, that's a Topcon Hyper 2 RTK base station on my Seiko tripod there. Why would I be using a Topcon when I use a Leica? Well, actually, I only have the Leica Rover at the moment. I'm in the process of purchasing another Leica base station. Stay tuned for a video on that very shortly. So what I'm able to do is actually make my Leica GS18 talk to my Topcon Hyper 2 GPS. Now here's the box, big yellow box, and there's the rover, because this was my original GPS base rover kit before I purchased the Leica GS18. And we have here a Topcon FC5000 with magnet field software on it. So still works. The only limitation is that it's GPS and GLONASS, so I am limited by the amount of satellites I can receive from the base station, which, even though this Leica GS18 is multi-constellation, I'll only be able to receive GPS and GLONASS. But if I've got a radio signal down there where there's potentially no internet and I can't use CORS, this is the very best next option. And to set this base up, I've been able to find the coordinates here. Point number 619 with my easting, northing and height of the peg that I have just near the witch's hat there. I read that using CORSnet. So what I've done is transfer those coordinates into this Topcon receiver here, the FC5000, and I've measured a slant height. So you get slant or vertical. I've got a slant height of 1.645. I'm going to start the base. Base station started successfully. Go to rover connection. Now I'm going to say no, because I'm not going to be using this rover. I'm actually going to be using that rover there. So I've disconnected the 4G antenna, so the GPS receiver is not receiving any 4G, and straight away, look, it's gone into this RTK bridging, which still gives me, look at the accuracy, 50 mils by 20 mils, no internet connection. That's RTK bridging. It's a feature within SmartNet, Hexagon SmartNet, that gives you sort of approximate positioning when you don't have an internet signal when it drops out, and it gives it to you for about 10 minutes. So that's pretty cool, hey? And now you can see I put the antenna on, the GAT28 antenna. Hope you can see that okay. Okay, we're going to hit this little thing that looks like a little phone here and change the RTK profile. Load RTK profile. I'm going to change this from SmartNet, CoreNet to GS18 UHF radio. Click finish. I don't want to keep the internet settings for the time being. Hopefully, if all fingers crossed, it should flick over to UHF radio.
Connection to GS sensor lost.
And look at this. See that? A little radio there?
RTK initialized.
And there we go. RTK
Connected to GS sensor.
initialized. Now you can. Okay, and because my base there is only GPS and GLONASS, that means that I'm only going to have GPS and GLONASS on my GS18. So you can see I'm right up on top of a hill here. I should have 30 plus satellites. I've only got 15. That's the GPS and GLONASS. But look at the accuracy, 15 mils by 8. Not bad. So it looks like I'm ready. I'm going to hop in my car, drive down the bottom of the hill and look for some survey marks. So one of the joys of surveying is that we get to travel in our four-wheel drive. See me here filming as we travel along, and this is just a bush track at the back of this neighbour's property here, and I guess if you don't get that chance to go out on a weekend and go a bit of four-wheel driving, well, surveying definitely gives you that opportunity. It's not so rough here, but we're going to go down a bit of a gully in a sec, and it's actually quite pretty too, so stick around. I guess whilst I've got you here, it's a good opportunity to say firstly thanks so much for watching, and thanks for liking the channel. Thank you for your comments. Thanks for subscribing if you have done so already, and if you haven't, please make sure you subscribe. Your support would be greatly appreciated. I have a heap of videos on surveying of lots of different adventures and finding old survey marks, and as you can see here, we're cruising around in the bush. So yeah, it's just a fantastic place to work. And again, look at the rocks. Rocks. So I'm taking this track down to the bottom, and it sort of goes up and around and winds up and down. So I'll stop videoing now, and I'll see you at the bottom. I've managed to get down to the bottom here, and I just thought I'd pull over, and holy cow, that's a long way up there. Check this out. Check out this little culvert here. Some stones neatly placed, and this tiny little sort of little dam. Holy cow. Check out this tree fern. Incredible. I mean, I really get to work in some amazing places. Just mind-blowing, really. I mean, look at this. Look at this. And I haven't even gone to look for the survey marks yet. This is Australia, New South Wales, Australia, in the Hawkesbury here. And what an amazing, quiet, serene place just to work. Okay, time to go find some survey marks. Holy cow! Check these rocks out. No wonder they say falling rocks do not stop. Check out the cave. How the devil are you going to get up there to do a survey? Bloody hell. Wow. There's the Hawkesbury River. And we're just bordering, I'll turn this around. There's a sign to Wiseman's Ferry. Okay, my survey plan showed a lot of measurements along the river here, being the frontage, the river frontage of my lot. It also noted that at the back corner there are absolutely no way of placing any marks. It said corner inaccessible, corner not marked. And I sort of scratched my head because I've been up there. But I can see why they didn't do that. They were surveying along this road. But they had to go up there. Look at these rocks. Look at that cave. There'd be just no way of marking this. Now you can see here where they've blasted the rock out. See here, drill a hole and put some TNT, gelignite or some sort of explosives to bust out the rock. But again, absolutely no way of climbing up there with your theodolite in 1880 or at any time to do a survey. This road's been widened and I'm hoping to find some survey marks, but first I've got to figure out where I am. I'm going to head down there now and have a look. Down the bottom in this wetlands here, check out the little bridge. And running stream. I've come from up there where that power line is. That's where I was wandering around before, measuring some trees right at the top of that hill. So again, my dilemma is that there's no internet down here, absolutely not one bar of internet, so therefore I can't use CoreNet. It's getting late in the afternoon and I'm struggling to find a survey mark here. There's a post angle, which I'm going to show you in a sec. That's all I've got. I'm going to be using UHF RTK radio and I'm going to make a measurement. I found a GI pipe at the very top of the hill and I've got a post here which I'm hoping may give me some luck. Now look at the canopy here, super thick, and remembering I've only got GPS and GLONASS, so my quality it's not the best. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's only about 0.6 of a metre. 0.37 for 2D, 0.47 for 1D. I've got it sort of propped up reasonably vertical. You can see I've got both antennas in there. I've got the UHF antenna, the longer one, and the 4G antenna there. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to let the residuals, I've taken about 300 readings so far, I'm just going to let the residuals get down to about 0.1 of a metre. I reckon if I can get some sort of agreement from this post to the GI pipe up the top of the hill, I'll be able to kind of calculate between them and see how it fits. But goodness me, I've had a bit of a dig here, not having much luck. Again, pretty amazing place, and there's no evidence of any sort of mark. There's a significant fence here and a significant angle, and there's what looks to be definitely some sort of survey type peg, survey stake, maybe the remains of a peg, and there should be a pipe here. That's what I really want to find. But again, not having much luck, so I think I'm just going to hope that I can get some sort of half reliable reading here. Next week I should be investing in a new Leica base station, multi-constellation, so therefore my Leica GS18 will have a companion that will enable us to have better luck under this canopy. But for now I can only do what I can do, and we're getting down to into the 200mm range for 2D, which is getting better. It's not great again, but I'm just going to let it sit here and hope for the best. Well, with a bit of calculation, things have paid off, thank goodness. Here's a hole. Get down low here. I could see this timber stake here. See this remains of a timber stake and remains of a peg. And I haven't got my, I do have my measuring tape on me. The reference is 457. Well, that's pretty ratty there. That's a pretty ratty looking peg, and it's not even firm as this line sitting there. But if we measure from that 457, and you might be able to make it out, but I'm going to give it a coat of paint because that's the only way you can see it. It's really dark in this hole. Try not to spray my U-Butte camera. Wow, there we have a GI pipe. A GI pipe in amongst all of this on a Friday afternoon. Oh dear, this canopy is thick. I'm going to have to try and cut a hole in it to be able to read that, because I struggled just to read this post. But I'm super excited about that. I'll give it a go now. I'll get my bipod and clear a bit of the canopy, I think. You beauty. Okay, well, sun's starting to go down, and I've cleared a bit of the canopy, not much. I mean, it's pretty darn thick. I've got the Leica GS18 and the GLS 30 carbon fibre pole being supported by my Topcon bipod, and I really like this Topcon bipod because it's got a really nice metal screw and a clamp system there. Like, really, honestly think it's just a really well made bipod. Of all the bipods I've owned, this is probably the best one so far. Okay, doing 80 readings so far. The 2D quality, which is all I'm really interested in, is at 19 millimeters, 1D 35, the 3D overall is at 40, so it's doing pretty darn well for just GPS and GLONASS under this canopy. And wow, what do you think, hey? Pretty cool. Gee, so I've got one GI pipe here and I've got a GI pipe up the top, and that's all I've got. Now I really want to find a rock mark, and that was going to be the star of this video, the most important thing for the video, but I'll see if I can show it to you. At the moment I've really got to get a really decent reading on this mark because that's all I've got. But it's 4:40 on a Friday afternoon. People would probably be on their way home. I'm not going to give up yet. I'm going to get a decent reading on this. I'm going to do a 2-point localization. I'm going to go look for an old rock mark, hopefully just beyond my car there, and hopefully I can find it. And I am going to a lot of effort. This is only just a detail survey, goodness me, but I need to know where that side boundary is so I can get that on my survey plan. The 2D quality is getting better now. 14 millimeters 2D, 28 mils, 27 mils 1D. I'm just waiting for that 3D quality to fall under 30 mils, which it's just about to do, and I'm going to press store. So hopefully 250 readings, GPS and GLONASS only, 6 satellites, only 6. Goodness me.
Point stored.
Point stored, that's it. I'll now have some excellent GPS coordinates for that GI pipe here on River Road. Leetsvale, I think they call it. So if anyone's interested in those coordinates, reach out to me and I'll give them to you. Okay, I'll fill this hole in, which I'm doing now. Crunch it down. I've given it a bit of yellow paint there on the post. So now we can just do this quick localization and see how we go. Okay, I've got my U-Butte new camera mounted on my little neck mount here,
RTK
and
initialization loss. RTK initialized.
I'm looking for a rock mark.
RTK initialization loss.
I think it'd be fantastic if the mark was
Tail compensation started. Tail compensation stopped.
on the road, but I've got a sneaking suspicion it's not.
Tail compensation
It
started.
keeps wanting to take me up there.
RTK initialized. RTK initialization lost. Tail compensation started.
12 meters
Tail
up there.
compensation stopped. Tail compensation started.
It's getting dark.
Tail compensation stopped.
2 marks is bare minimum, which is what I've got. 3's better. And let's see what we've got. I don't have a U-Butte fix yet, but it's about 8 meters up that way. I might try up here first, up the side of this rock. Whew. Hard to get up here. Oh dear. Oh, there's some huge cliffs there. 6 meters. Again, not all that well fixed, but I'll take the rough fix, and it brings me over. Whoa, brings me over to this rock. 3 meters. Come on. I just needed to go fixed. I'll go out and here we are, initialized. 1. I'll get it in tilt. 1 meter. It's on top of this rock here. It's on top of this rock now. To me, that's an excellent place to put a reference mark, because the thing is nice and flat. So here we go. 600 mils. Check out the view. Sun's going down. 8 satellites. 100 by 170. Just there, right here, where a looks like a kangaroo has gone to the loo. I can see some paint or coloured stuff. I've got paint. Guys, this is the most amazing bit. This is a rock mark from the 1800s. I've got to put my GPS down. This is too exciting for me. Holy moly. I'm going to take the camera off so I can show you. Firstly, check out the view and check out this rock mark. Holy cow. Wow. What a way to end the day. I thought there may have been an Arthur road. I think there may have been some adjustments here, but it doesn't matter. Check this out. Broad arrow on a rock. I'll give it a coat. It's had a bit of yellow paint, so someone's found this before. It's not the first time it's been found, unfortunately. I do get excited by finding marks. Ah. Okay, yeah. The yellow paint may spoil the moment there, but you can see what I mean. Drill hole, 3 wings on top of this massive cliff. Wow, just before the sun got down. And I didn't even think I'd get that far. Wow. I've got to put my camera back around my neck. Okay, the GPS receiver. I think this video is going to be a long one, guys. If you've stayed this far, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit share. And I got a fix. And it's saying I'm within 9 mils and 20 mils. Goodness me. I don't think I can get any better than that. Holy cow. I'm in tilt compensation mode, so what I'm going to do is turn the tilt off, escape, go into measure mode. I find that if I'm not in tilt and put it under time and just hold the bubble there, I get the sort of the quality that I'm after. So I'll code this broad arrow B-A-R-R-O-W and go 3D quality. Knowing my luck, I'll have to sit here for a little while. I should have bought my bipod. I was just felt a little bit easier to go without it. Wow, what a place, eh? And again, I'm blessed with all these rocks, which I really love. And There's a broad arrow sitting proudly on top of this rock here that no one's found in a very long time. And it's frogs, I think they're frogs, are going crazy. I think it's time to go home. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate the support on the channel. I've got to make sure I get out of here. Well, not only safely, but see how I've got, see the antennas on the Leica GS18. I've got the 4G and the UHF. They're quite firm, but sometimes I get a bit worried they might fall out. I've often thought about putting some coloured tape around them, just in case they do, and that way I could find them if they fall into the scrub. But here we are. I mentioned earlier, this is Leapsvale in the Hawkesbury, and just up there on that rock is that rock mark that I found. What a place. Well, it's time to go. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, and I apologise for the time this video has taken to get out. The last video I made was with Ian Idale, and that was all about the Starry Day app. If you didn't, if you haven't watched that video, make sure you check it out. And it's been a crazy couple of weeks after that, the end of the financial year, but I finally got back out in the field. All to mark a boundary line, or to figure out a boundary line for a survey, a tree survey. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. See you later. Whoa, look at this place. Check out these rocks. Holy cow, that's a long way down. We've got to go right up there. G'day everyone, the Global Surveyor, and look where I am today. I have a really fantastic video for you all. Super excited. I've been wanting to make this video for a long time. I'm at Mount Banks in the beautiful Blue Mountains, and I say beautiful because of this. Look at that. Look at the cliffs, look at the valley, and today we're going to Mount Banks, right up there. And when we get to the top of Mount Banks, I've got something fantastic to show you, so make sure you stick around, make sure you like, subscribe, hang on for the ride. You can see here's the sign to Mount Banks. It's a grade 4 climb, only 1.2 kilometres one way. It's quite steep, and the views are absolutely incredible. And coming from Bell's Line of Road, just past Mount Tomar. So there's plenty of free parking here. I'm just parked down the bottom. And we've got the Mount Banks Fire Trail. If you walk along there, that's quite a few kilometres, but the scenery is incredible. But if you want to summit Mount Banks, which is what I'm doing, just take the little track here. I made that mistake last time, I completely missed it. So we're going to head up here. Want to make sure you've got plenty of water, and I've got some lunch. I'm going to cook myself a little soup when I get to the top. I've actually got my Scarpa GTX hiking boots. Only the best Italian hiking boots, because with the scenery here, you want to complement it with good footwear. And the scenery is going to be absolutely incredible. Wild flowers. There's some wattle there. Banksias. A lot of steps. It's not that far from Sydney, about an hour and a bit. Probably closer to Lithgow. Oh, I love this. Fantastic. Check this out. You're not going to believe it in a sec. You won't believe this. There's Mount Banks. A few hikers out today. Wow. Scenery is incredible. You can see the four-wheel drive track or fire trail. You go down there a couple of kilometres, you get right to the edge of the escarpment. Again, we're going up to the top of Mount Banks. And you really feel quite exposed up here. Really exposed, actually. Look at the cliffs. So it's about 10 degrees Celsius. Again, beautiful day. And I'm sort of got my Antarctic explorer attire on. Thick, I've got a polar fleece, thick jacket, and my Antarctic beanie. And the track is actually quite well maintained, as you can see. Good steps, but big steps. Okay, so just beyond my finger there, probably a kilometre or so, you can see the track coming in with a car park here, so that's how far we've come. Still got a long way to go. Check out these rocks. Holy cow, that's a long way down. We've got to go right up there. Wow. These rocks are incredible. Absolutely incredible. We're getting to the track that takes you to the summit. We've gone along the ridge, seen this incredible view. Now, there's the summit of Mount Banks. I actually had to take my thicker coat off. It's just getting so hot. Thankfully, it rolls up into nothing, and but I'm sure I might need it when we get up closer to the summit. So we're approaching the summit. The track obviously goes from being a barren ridgeland heath to, I guess it's still heath land, but the track is a lot more vegetated and overgrown, as you can see here. Not a bad way to spend your Saturday. If you're looking for something to do, you're looking for a bushwalk that really throws in some fantastic, amazing scenery. This one isn't too far from Sydney. Parking's free, plenty of parking. You do feel like you've got the whole place to yourself as well. It's just a really fantastic place. Yep, as I said, the track is becoming very overgrown now. It's almost suggesting that a lot of people come here, maybe only go up to halfway and never really summit the mountain. Here we go. The track is still well defined, so the thing is, you won't get lost provided you stay on this track, but it is very overgrown and could be a little bit worrying for novice bushwalkers, but we're almost at the summit. Almost there. Birds are enjoying it. And you can see the trees are a lot taller here. And we really have the whole place to ourselves. It's, how awesome is this? Oh, I love this place. This is great, eh? Look at it. I can see where the sky is up there. I'm pretty certain we're getting close to the summit. Here's some bracken, and I think possibly a few weeds here. I don't think all of this is native, unfortunately. The track is clean. There's no signs of any rubbish, which is great. And a few dead trees. If you got this far, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up and share the video if you think this is really cool. Okay, so up here it's quite open with this sort of forest. The track sort of deviates off to the left there, but we have a track going up here which I'm thinking this will be the way to the summit. It's not actually widely signposted. There may be another signpost to the summit, but we're going to take this track. The moment you've been waiting for. There was a reason I climbed Mount Banks. I've been going for more than an hour. And what is the reason that I climbed Mount Banks? It's for this. This is Trig Station, King George. Wow. So Mount Banks has an altitude of 1,062 metres above sea level. To undo the vane here, you need these 10mm Allen key type arrangement here. We undo that, and then it's got a 5/8 spigot on top where you can put your GPS receiver or your prism or your total station, but I don't think any trigs would be visible from here. As you can see, it's so densely covered here with the trees, but how cool is this, eh? Okay, so the story has it that in 1804, after summiting this mountain, explorer George Cayley named it Mount Banks to honour the botanist Sir Joseph Banks. But Hamilton Hume renamed it Mount King George in 1827. Apparently the Geographical Names Board reinstated Mount Banks in its inception in 1966. And this is why this trig station is called King George.
Is that steam or steam?
We've got
Bubbling.
a little some chunky Irish stew and beef ravioli and canned soup. Our little cooker there, so nice place to have some lunch. Bit of Irish stew. Give it a stir. I'm not putting in any survey marks today. Just having a bit of fun on the weekend. Got to keep stirring it to make sure it doesn't burn. So there's a couple of tracks that you can follow to get up to Trig Reserve. We've just come up from kind of the eastern side, and there's a little track here which I think will take you back down to the bottom, and I think that's the way we're going to go now. Check out the view. Check out the rocks. They are some very, very tall cliffs. And this beautiful, quiet forest. don't even think it's necessary to talk. I think it's time to go back. The path is quite easy on the feet, it's not too bad. Kids easily can do it, nothing too strenuous. As we say goodbye to King George Trig on top of Mount Banks. There's actually some very poor signs there. That's got an arrow pointing that way down the track here. But again, the track is easy to find, even though the path is slightly overgrown. It is still quite easy to walk along. So we're now heading down on Mount Banks. Look at the forest up here. Yeah, I think this part of the mountain here is definitely overgrown. I mean, we've got some native flora here, but I tend to think that this stuff here is weed. If someone wants to leave a comment, you feel free, but I'm pretty certain that this area is sort of I don't think this is all completely native, and it's a real shame actually, but it would actually be quite a big job. Quite a big job to sort that out. Maybe it's happening, but at this point in time, it looks like this part of the mountain is definitely covered in some weed. I've come across a few people on the track today. Oh. Again, it's quite thick as you approach the summit, but as we head back down it starts to open up again, and the views are incredible. It's quite easy to walk down, quite easy, and the view again is incredible. Sun shining there, and not sure how well you can see the track winding down there back to the car park, but if you're looking for a bushwalk where you get to walk along and you don't mind being exposed to the elements, this is a really good one. Wow. I love this place. Look at it. That's where we've come from. Like I said a moment ago, if you like going on bushwalks and you really like adventure and you like to be exposed on top of these ridges, I guess the thing would be if it's colder. I mean, we are in the middle of winter, but if it's super cold, you want to make sure you've got warm coat and things like that. Yes, it's a lot easier to walk down and definitely not short of breath. Whoa, look at this place. Holy cow. And there's some amazing rocks and little caves, and the view, absolutely incredible. Lots of places to get photos, lots of places to relax. Yeah, we want to be real careful around the rocks here. As you can see, it's really, really slippery. Look at this place. Sun's starting to set. Check out these native flowers. Little gum nuts. Mount Banks sure has a lot of Banksias. There's a Banksia there. That's only a small Banksia actually. There's quite a few. More native flowers. It's definitely easy coming down on this well-made track here at Mount Banks, and the sun's starting to come down, and we're almost at the bottom back at the car park. So thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, please make sure you hit like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Remember, subscribing is absolutely free. It doesn't cost a cent. All you gotta do is press subscribe. Hit the bell notification so that you're informed as to when I make another video. Again, this video was kind of about surveying because we found the trig reserve, but I didn't know measuring today. It's a weekend, and I guess we're all entitled to a bit of enjoyment. Although I do love surveying, I do love being out in the bush. Let's pan it around again. There's the fire trail heading back to the car park. So as we, you can see there's Mount Banks, and we're on our way down. And again, it's quite easy to walk. It's very easy actually, but I guess one thing I was going to say, which I've probably mentioned many times, is that it's not not overly hard walk. You want to make sure you got some water, and if it was summertime, it'd be a very thirsty exercise. But look at all these rocks, and there's some ones on the edge there. There's lots of little places for photo, great photo opportunity. So if you're looking for a great place to come on the weekend, this is it. Come and check it out. You get some great photos. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you on the next video. Make sure again you like, subscribe, hit share, and if you've got any questions about surveying or this place, Mount Banks, feel free to reach out, and we'll see you on the next video. See you later. I'll give that a coat of paint now. I know people don't like me painting. Had a few people comment on the channel. That's okay. I'm sorry to upset you. G'day everyone, the Global Surveyor. Check this little dam here. I'm doing a survey for someone who wants to build a shed. So, pretty cool little dam. The shed's just going to be behind me. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weed here. This is lantana, and it's got these nasty little spikes on there. They're not that bad to touch really, and it won't sting you, but if you walk through that you'll get a nasty scratch, especially if you don't have if you've got shorts on. Unfortunately, this property here is covered in quite a bit of lantana. Some days I get to work in some really cool places, and whilst I'm out in the scrub here, the lantana is just sort of taken over, which is a bit of a shame. I've got this old survey plan here, and it says nail and wings in rock at the back of my corner. Well, just down there where that gum tree is and the two metal stays of the fence, looks like they've decided to instead of pulling that tree down, which is not a bad idea, they've put a stay either side. Well, see my Leica GNSS. Well, the first thing I saw when I saw the post and the trees, I thought, oh, there's absolutely no way you'd find the mark here. I mean, look at the concrete. Someone's dug a hole, and the same thing there. They would have dug a hole for that post. But can you believe it? I just can't believe it. Check this out. Drill hole, wing, and the makings of a wing, or the remains of a wing. There was a nail, was supposed to be a nail in that little hole there. So there we go, that's my corner. Drill hole and wings, or previously nail and wing in rock. I can't believe that the rock is still the way it is, and they've just put that post, look at the concrete, right over the top. So I'll give that a coat of paint now. I know people don't like me painting. Had a few people comment on the channel. That's okay. I'm sorry to upset you. But I'm going to give this a coat of paint because it will allow this owner and the other owners a chance to be aware that there's a corner mark there and not to disturb it. I'm doubtful that this fence will need replacing for a little while. Post and netting fence, but how cool, hey? Drill hole and wing in rock. And not a bad way to end my midweek hump day, Wednesday. Gee, there's some strange plants here. Very strange. G'day everyone, the Global Surveyor. I'm out here at St Ives Chase today in Alana Street, Alana Place, St Ives Chase. And this subdivision was dated back in the 1950s. Concrete blocks were placed as reference marks, no curb no drill hole wings in the curb. And look what we got here. We've got a garden with some agapanthus here. I didn't actually want to dig up the garden, but what have you got to do? This garden here is on the nature strip, but look what I found. A concrete block, and if I just get my trusty little screwdriver here, you can see the makings. You can see the makings of a hole. Super excited, and I'll be able to see that from my total station just over there. But here's the interesting thing. I pre-calculated this survey on MGA, basically tying this survey into some adjoining surveys down the road that were on MGA. So I was able to get some coordinates and check out the accuracy. 6 mils, 20 mils. Not bad, hey? Thank you, Leica GNSS. I've just found a concrete block. What a bonus. And now I'll read it with the Leica 360-degree prism, the Leica AP20 auto pole. As you can see, I can hold this out on a tilt, like so. Actually, the bottom of that pole sitting right inside the hole of the concrete block. How cool is that? For those who may end up working in Alana Street, St Ives Chase, let me know and I'll send you the MGA coordinates for that mark. I might leave a little paint mark here or a texture mark on the copper log there just to help the next surveyor. And the next mark, that's a bit of a bummer. It's underneath the paving here, so I will unfortunately have to give that one a miss and have to keep traversing up into the other streets. Okay, so you can see a copy of the old survey plan that I have here back in the 1950s, and I'll just put it down here somewhere where we can have a look. So that concrete block I just showed you was at the tangent point in this road here. See, I've plotted it as number 8 concrete block in my thing. Well, I've just come over here, just here, RMGI pipe. Now look what I found. RMGI pipe. What a bonus. And there's my total station set up there on an SSM at the street intersection, so I'll be able to read hopefully through there. I might have to break a few leaves. I'll still use my Leica AP20 auto pole to read the GI pipe. Oh, what a bonus. And you can see how excellent this AP20 auto pole is, because if I stand here, we've got all these leaves in the way. If I lean out here, you can see the total station. And you just got to just rock it backwards and forwards a bit until we get the green bar there. It shows good tilt strength. I can just lean it up against the fence here if I like. How cool is this? Watch. G'day everyone, the Global Surveyor. And I'm undertaking a detailed survey today in a jungle. Well, not quite a jungle, but it's a jungle to me. Some old wood there, don't know what that is. Look at this, like really thick. And I've got the Leica TS16. I've got it set up, the ground's not all that stable. There's a house down there. Oh, look how steep it is going down there with all the weeds. There's a few broken bits of concrete there and other bits of rubbish. G'day everyone, the Global Surveyor, and I'm undertaking a detailed survey today in a jungle. Well, not quite a jungle, but it's a jungle to me. Some old wood there, don't know what that is. Look at this, like really thick. And got the Leica GNSS. I've got it set up, the ground's not all that stable. There's a house down there. Oh, look how steep it is going down there with all the weeds. And there's a few broken bits of concrete there and other bits of rubbish, which is not a nice thing. I mean, when you look out there it looks quite nice, but when you look here it doesn't. I've got my backside set out over there on the driveway, and believe it or not, someone would like a survey of their house, so it's my job today to make a map of everything that's here. It's a weatherboard house here, and I'm really in the thick of it today. So on the Leica GNSS, we have the option for a red laser, which you see it on my hand there, and I've got it positioned on the corner of a building. I don't know how well you can see that red laser there, but it's brilliant. When you want to try and look through things like this, it's very hard to make sure that you're actually pointing at the corner that you need. So by pointing the red laser through here, you can see, get it right on the corner, like so. And it's not all that easy walking around here. It's very, very steep. So measuring natural surface shots there, you can see I've got the red laser on the ground. We can take a reading there.
Point stored.
You can hear it saying point stored. So I'm able to move that around a few places and get some very irregular natural surface, just to sort of display that the ground is falling from the corner of this building downhill. And also the red laser is great for measuring the neighbouring properties. You can just see the red laser that I've got there on the corner of the building. I'd never be able to get there myself, so it's great to do that. And I can also get the heights of the guttering and the ridge and anything else that may seem important. Sometimes you can't set the instrument up so that you can see all the roof shape, and you can see there we've got the corner of a gutter. Well, I just can't see it because it's right behind some bushes. I could try and clear them. So the easiest thing to do is just take one reading on the gutter there, one reading on the gutter there, and just get a couple of readings on that part of the gutter that I can see, and then you intersect the two lines back in the office in your CAD program to determine that corner. And you can see it is a bit of a jungle and a bit of a junk heap here. Look at all the bricks, broken tiles and stuff. The only way I can be sure that I know that I've captured important things like trees, get out your paint can. Let's put a little yellow dot. It doesn't have to be yellow, it could be any colour, but I've just chosen yellow, stands out. And then I can at least see that I've captured this tree and I've captured that tree. And there's a tree in there that I got. So if you are watching for the first time, welcome to the channel. Channel's all about land surveying, the exciting things and the not so exciting things, but yeah, it's called the Global Surveyor, and I'd really love your support, so please make sure you hit like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that little notification bell too, just so that you know, keep in touch when we release a new video. You can also see that I have to place multiple stations. We've got one there, one just over in there, and probably several more out the back. Quite a complicated job. Here's a boundary peg I found, been recently placed, and you can see someone's got a pretty little reflective target, part of some survey control. And actually, to make it easy for me, I found a little nail here in the concrete, which I'm using as my survey, one of my survey control marks. So you can see here the terrain or gardens and trees, it's just impenetrable in places. You know, well, not so much impenetrable in terms of being able to walk through, because it's not too bad, but just impenetrable in terms of being able to see the total station, which is just there. But I need to get the height here of the ground. So one way I can do it is by putting a red laser on the fence, which I can see just through there. Get my measuring tape out, pop out of the way of the laser beam, and you can see approximately measures about 750 mils. So then I can put that into my controller, 750 mils. I can, a bit hard to do this in film, change the code to natural surfaces I've got, press OK, which is the same as pressing measure. And I'll press distance to start with. You can see it's measured, and distance of 7.787 meters. So we'll store that.
Point stored.
And that's how I get natural surface shots in places like this. Sometimes you just leave behind some little control marks. You see, there's a screw here holding the downpipe, just in case I've got to come back, because it's obviously a jungle and it's not all that easy to measure around the place. And I've done the same there, just a little screw in the wall. Help me, if I need to, I can come back to the total station, take a reading, and straight away start surveying again. Oh, lucky I'm almost done. You probably can see it's starting to rain. This gear is pretty waterproof. Obviously I don't leave it out in the pouring rain, but a bit of a light shower isn't too bad. But I want to hurry up and get this finished, because this is a real jungle. Here's another reason why the AP20 auto pole is so good. You can't actually do the measuring and filming at the same time, but you can see here there's a bit of a chain, a weld mesh fence in the way here. I want to get a corner just there. I can just poke the pole through the weld mesh, forget about the bubble, and take the reading with the AP20. When the AP20 is actually, the tilt's working, that red coloured symbol there will be green. But fantastic to be able to do that and not have to worry about the bubble, which is just there. See, this is quite awkward. Again, having to measure all these things where it's impossible to see. Goodness me. It's starting to rain. Thank goodness, I'm almost done. Okay, it's time to pack up. Put the Leica GNSS back in its box. Just got the controller and the AP20 here. What I can do is I can turn this off. You've got to sort of press the button quite firmly and just wait a few seconds. We can take the 360-degree prism off. Just be careful. And 360-degree prism sits nicely in the box like so. And we just close it up. The box is actually quite heavy. TS16 as a total station is actually quite a heavy total station. But it's time to pack up, everyone. So thanks so much for watching. This has been a real awkward survey, and just goes to show that some surveys are easy, some are really exciting, like finding old survey marks, and these ones are not as much fun, and they're very awkward. And I'm glad it's Friday and time to go home. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please make sure you like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell to make sure you are alerted for any upcoming videos. And yeah, thanks for supporting the Global Surveyor on YouTube and TikTok. We're really trying to grow the channel, so your support is greatly appreciated. Please make sure you watch all the videos we have there. It'd be grateful if you do. And see you next time.